Coming up on this week's episode of Theme Park Worldwide the show, as Efteling unveil their €35 million dark ride, the first reviews are in, and I'm going to be talking all about Symbolic. Along with that, we've got news on a brand new roller coaster also open this week over in Poland. Some sad news from the UK on the closure of yet another dark ride, and finally, some big changes coming to Pirates of the Caribbean over at Disney World and also Disneyland in California. I'm Shawn Sanbrooke, this is Theme Park Worldwide the show, and that means it's time to cue those titles. I do hope you've all had a fantastic week and welcome to this week's episode of the show. Now, I did warn you in last week's episode that there was going to be an absolutely hilarious vlog go online this week, and it went on. It was Happy Valley Shanghai, and it's great to see that so many of you enjoyed it so far. I can't help but laugh when I think about that day. Let's just say only 3 out of the 7 roller coasters were open at that park, but me and Alex made the best of it. We had an absolutely hilarious day. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone who's not seen it, but make sure you go and check it out. If you love our vlogs here on the channel, you're going to absolutely find that hilarious. It was so funny, just the day and everything just there. What a strange park it really was, and there was some certain elements to that vlog that we've never seen before. It was kind of like a vlog gone wrong, so to speak. We went to this park expecting all this, and then we came out and was like, what the hell has just happened for the past 10 hours? But yeah, make sure you check that out. Along with that, the last couple of vlogs went on from Shanghai Disneyland, one from Disney Town, which is like their Disney Village style walk around area, so check that one out, and also from the hotels there as well. You've got both the Toy Story Hotel and the Shanghai Disneyland Hotel all within one vlog where I take a little look round, bit of an explore really, a bit like I did in Hong Kong, just so you guys get to see the on-site accommodation there. So we didn't stay on site that time, but even if you're not staying on site, you can happily walk around the hotels and have a look, and that's what I did there. So yeah, make sure you go and check that one out. In terms of new vlogs going forward and new videos, coming up in the next couple of days, we'll have another episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster. I did put a video on of the actual firework display, Eruption of Magic, which I have built inside Volcano Springs for anyone that's been following the series. But in the next couple of days, we'll have a new Let's Play episode where I show you all about how that display works, and a little bit of a behind the scenes look at where the controllers are and the launch pads and all that kind of stuff. Now, a couple of weeks ago, me and Caitlin filmed a Q&A video. Don't worry, I've not forgot about it. That'll be going on in the next couple of days as well. We just had so much content to put online at the channel, mainly from the Asia Mega Trip, and when we come back, various park trips, SW8 updates. Yeah, it really is a very busy time for the channel. More vlogs than ever before in the history of Theme Park Worldwide at the moment, so hey, you're all enjoying them. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And then we'll have the first vlogs coming up this week from Japan, the final part of our Asia Mega Trip. We'll have the travel over vlog to Japan, followed by 2 days at Tokyo Disneyland and 2 days at Tokyo Disney Sea. So I hope you'll enjoy those. Really, really worth checking out all the vlogs from the Asia trip. It was absolutely fantastic. And once all the vlogs have gone online, me and Alex will actually be doing a video here at the World of Theme Parks, talking all about how we put the trip together, how you guys can plan it if you want to do it in sections or all together like we did. And yeah, that's something we are going to be doing in the next couple of weeks once all them vlogs are online. And of course, coming up next week, me and Lee are going to Europa Park. There is literally so much, it's crazy how much we're doing at the moment. But once again, thank you to each and every one of you for watching our vlogs. It's crazy to see how many views are coming in on our Asia vlogs. I knew it would be a really good trip to do, and it's great to see that all of you are really finding it fascinating, how we dealt with it all over there and how we put all that trip together. So yeah, like I say, stay tuned for a video in the next couple of weeks where me and Alex will sit down and talk all about how we planned our Asia Mega Trip. Anyway, that was a long intro, wasn't it? Let's get straight in. Quite a bit of news to talk about this week in News Off the Rails. Now, roller coasters have always been considered to be the highlight of a theme park experience, but it's great to see that more parks are really thinking outside the box when it comes to building new attractions. Of course, dark rides now can be just as good, if not better, than roller coasters, and the fact that you can go through these rides and be immersed in these different worlds, it's great to see that more parks are starting to build those types of attractions. Efteling over in the Netherlands is one of those parks that's always done fantastic dark rides. You've got Dreamflight, which is absolutely gorgeous there, one of my favourites out there. However, this new ride, Symbolic, that opened a few days ago, a trackless dart ride costing 35 million euros, looks absolutely visually impressive. This ride is stunning. As much as I can't share my own personal review yet, I've got quite a few people's different reviews that I've sort of mixed together to share with you guys this week's episode of the show. It opened over the weekend just a few days ago and it does look stunning. Me personally, I'm going to share my review at the start of September, just a couple of months time until I go, and I can't wait to experience this brand new trackless dart ride. But basically you watch a short pre-show that explains the story behind it. It's a palace tour that's sort of been hijacked, if you like, by the Efteling mascot. A short pre-show before you get to choose which one of the 3 experiences you want to have. So I spoke about this quite a lot. With it being a trackless dart ride, it does follow the same route. However, there's different scenes in that you'll see better from different ones. It sort of veers off closer to different scenes and little details that you'll notice on the 3 different tours. You've actually got the Hero, Music and Treasure tour. So you've got all 3, you can pick which ones you want to do. They are largely the same, but like I say, a couple of them get used to unique set pieces and some other details along the way that you wouldn't see from other tours. So a lot of people have said it is actually worth, if you get time, doing all 3. There's enough differences to warrant doing it 3 times, which is good to see. I thought it might be all very similar, but it's not. There's quite a few little things to see from each tour, so I'll definitely try and do that when I'm there in September. Now, a few moments into the ride, there is a touchpad in the ride vehicles, but only in the front vehicle, and this is pretty much the only complaint that people have got from this ride. They've said that it's interactive, however it's only with the people sat in the front. Obviously these ride vehicles, there's 2 rows. If you're in the back row you can't actually use this interactive touchpad. All it is, you press the buttons and then it interacts with some of the scenery throughout the ride. It's not really a necessity to be pressing those buttons, but I felt that some people have commented and said they felt a bit excluded being in the back row from that. However, that doesn't take away from this absolutely awesome experience. All the different themed rooms, a lot of people have picked up on saying the flooring's really well done, the roofs are really nice in there, the lighting's great. Some people have said that it needs a few tweaks in terms of timing for some of the elements in there, but overall this attraction, it's not loads of big screens up there and everything like that. It's a very traditional style dart ride. Yes, it might be one of the most advanced in terms of the ride system, a trackless ride, but however, in terms of the scenery, the fact they haven't just gone in and put loads of screens and it's lots of theming everywhere, big set pieces to look at, I love that, and I think this will be one of my favourite dart rides out there in the world when I do get to see it. Obviously I'll share my review in full depth once I've been on it, but yeah, it's a 7-minute ride. The big finale scene's great. That would only be possible with a trackless ride system. All the ride vehicles interacting with each other in this massive finale scene, and it's, a lot of people said it's very similar to Mystic Manor at Hong Kong Disneyland that obviously we did just over a month ago, and I loved it to bits. So if it's anything like that, I'm going to love it. I have watched the POVs, I've seen the spoilers, and some of the set pieces look even bigger than Mystic Manor, which is great to see. I can't wait to experience it for myself and share my review. But yeah, maybe this is kind of designed at a slightly younger audience, because a lot of people have said there's not really as many sort of jumpy parts to this. However, is it supposed to be? I mean, when you think this is more a palace of fantasy going around and being amazed, whereas Mystic Manor is technically a version of the Haunted Mansion, so to speak, in the fact that there's a few little jump scares here and there. Nothing like that in Symbolica, so it's probably designed for the families. It's for everyone, this ride, but mainly for the children in terms of that interactive element. Maybe if you're going with kids, make sure you're sitting in the front so they can be pressing all the buttons to see all the interactives and things. But yeah, 35 million euro well spent, it seems, and yeah, this ride looks gorgeous. I must say it's exceeded my expectations from what I've seen in the POV. The soundtrack's great, the fact it's got a good length to it, I think it'll fit in really well with everything that Efteling, and like I say, I can't wait to share my review from it. But yeah, if you have got more reviews, I read all the comments here on the video, so make sure you do write it down below, and I'll be sure to share some more reviews in the coming weeks from the brand new attraction over at Efteling. Moving on to a bit of sad news though now from us here in the UK on us actually losing a dart ride. After 5 years, Hobbs Pit at Pleasurewood Hills, just outside of Great Yarmouth, down in Lowestoft, it's actually closed after 5 years of operation. It's a shame, because this was a really enjoyable dart ride, and it was something for fans of Halloween all year round. It was effectively like going through a mine shaft on a ride vehicle, but there was actors at the sides, and when you're coming through the exit and the entrance, it was all really nicely themed, and it was great, a really good experience. I think that we had some early signs that this was coming, because a lot of people said that the shop was closed for the start of this year and stuff, and merchandise wasn't really available, that kind of thing. So yeah, we kind of knew it was coming, but it's a shame to see that it's actually happened, because it was good for fans of Halloween all year round. The fact you could go there no matter what time, spring, summer, and of course Halloween as well, but go on an attraction and get actors throughout it and be immersed in this experience. It's a shame they've closed it after just 5 years, but it does make me wonder, what is the future for Pleasurewood Hills? I mean, we see them closed, like the Dragon Coaster, what they had there, that's now closed, that shut last year. Yeah, because they didn't want to repair it because of issues. It's a shame. Is there money problems at that park or something like that? I mean, they really need to get a new lease of life in there. When I went a few years ago and did a vlog, I really enjoyed it, but it seems to be a lot of people who've been now said that it's really gone down in the past few years. But I'll be there, I'll go and give it a go at some point this year, and we'll see what it's like. I mean, I think me and Charlotte are going to head down there at some point this summer and do all the parks around there again. Great Yarmouth and Joyland, the Pleasure Beach there. So yeah, but it's just a shame to see that we've lost another dark ride. There is hints on the park's Facebook page that a new family attraction is going to be coming and replacing it, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't an amazing dark ride, but it was a really good experience, I thought. There were some elements that could have been better in there and enhanced even more, but for what it was a low budget dark ride with some good actors and some nice scares in there as well. It's a shame that we're losing that, really. So yeah, that's Hobbs Pit now closed over at Pleasurewood Hills. Next up then, some more positive news from a park over in Poland. Now Legendia has actually opened their brand new roller coaster that looks fantastic. It is the Let Coaster. Now I've talked about this quite a bit on the show, especially over winter and earlier this year when they were building this ride, because it captured my attention when I saw that first drop. Manufactured by Vekoma, I've never seen a drop quite like that before. Have a little look at this picture of the ride now in action, and look at that, it is absolutely stunning. The thing with this as well, it's actually got some really good speed to it. I did share some off-ride footage of it when it was testing last month, and yeah, this has got some really good speed. It carries it so well, especially all the different elements there is on this ride and the 3 different inversions that it's got throughout it. But yeah, the fact it's manufactured by Vekoma, it just looks so good. I mean, Vekoma do some great rides, but I've never seen anything quite like this from them before. I really want to get out there, maybe next year, and go and see this. A trip to Poland, I've not been over there before, so I'd like to go and give this ride a good go. I mean, it looks like a fantastic park as well. There's a few other nice things there. The entrance looks really good, that's all been redone, and yeah, it looks really nice. The positioning of this as well, at the end of like their Main Street style area, you've got a lake, and then it's just on the other side of the lake, which you can see in the photos there. So yeah, it looks really, really nice. It's got a top speed of 59 miles per hour. It looks like a really good coaster. Not too sure how it'll be with the restraints on there, but yeah, I'll give it a go and see what that one's like. Finally, some news from Disney parks. Now Disney, of course, they're always making changes to their attractions, but quite a big change is actually coming to Pirates of the Caribbean in Paris. Now we already know that this attraction is now going to feature Jack Sparrow, and that opens in a couple of weeks' time, plus a couple of other changes. However, they've now announced that Disneyland in California and the version of the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World in Florida is set to have a bit of a scene change. So they've announced that one of the familiar characters is going to play a new role, joining the pirate ranks and helping the local townspeople unload their valuables at the Mikado auction. So you can see just here, this auction scene, the female figure there, quite famous in the attraction. She's always been there, a bit of a flirty sort of character. Now she's going to hold this gun at the auction. It's going to be a bit of a more full-on scene. So I look forward to seeing what they do with that. Like I say, we're going to have this in 3 of the versions out there in the world now, once this is complete. So I can't wait to see what they do. Bit of a surprise announcement, really. We knew that Paris was going to get enhancements, obviously, but we didn't know about this at Disneyland and Walt Disney World up until a few weeks back. So yeah, very exciting to see. You can see the concept art just there from Walt Disney Imagineering. I'm sure we'll get to see that at some point in the near future. I mean, it looks really, really good, and I can't wait to get back to Disney and see the new scene. I've always enjoyed Pirates of the Caribbean. I absolutely love the version in Shanghai, by far my favourite version of the ride, but all pirates out there are fantastic. I do enjoy them all for what they are, and all the different scenes there is in the different ones. I mean, yes, it all follows the same sort of idea, but the fact that some you start with the caves, some that you start in a restaurant, you know, it's all very, very different, and I do really, really like that. But yeah, exciting times from the Disney parks.
You're like a roller coaster, move and shake me side to side. Yes and a no, but I'm making you ride like a roller coaster.
Now, in last week's episode of the show, I did say that I was going to make it slightly easier for you for this week, and it was. A few people have got it right in the comments, not quite as many as expected, but it's actually a roller coaster from the UK, from Southend and Adventure Island. It is the kiddie coaster. So yeah, well done to all of you that got that one right. Remember, it's just for fun, so here's this week's Name That Coaster. Stop. Don't know why I keep doing this dance. Every week I just seem to do a different dance and pretend to click my fingers. I really don't know why, but there you go. Yeah, comment down below. Remember, it's just for fun. Comment on this video with what you think that roller coaster was, and then in next week's episode, I'll reveal it for you all to see.
Questions, questions, questions everywhere.
So this year, with us having more Q&A videos on the channel, we've not had quite as many questions coming in for the show, but I have got 4 for this week, and if you want to keep sending any questions, all you need to do is message them in on the Theme Park Worldwide Instagram account and also over on Theme Park Worldwide Facebook as well. So make sure you send them in via our social media. So the first question coming in is, what's my least favourite theme park and least favourite ride? Now, in terms of least favourite theme park, before I'd always say I don't really have one. Now it's got to be Happy Valley Shanghai after the day we had there. Make sure you check the video out. Don't get me wrong, that park has got a lot of potential, but from our visit, I have to say that's the worst visit I've ever had to a theme park in terms of reliability and not telling people about what's going on. But yeah, Happy Valley Shanghai. But honestly, please just check out the vlog, you'll love it. It was absolutely hilarious. Just thinking about some of the things that happened on that day, it makes me laugh so much. My worst ride, God, probably it's either Hero from Mingoland or Al Condor. It changes whenever I ride each one. I think it's my least favourite, but for now, from them memories of Al Condor, it's going to have to be Al Condor over at Wallaby Holland. That was awful as well, but yeah, there you go. Next question then is coming from Jake. What do I think the future is of Vampire at Chessington? Well, I hope that it's got a future. I hope it does stay, but I've mentioned this in a few vlogs before. I don't want it to sort of stop them from expanding the park and putting another big coaster in. Vampire is quite old now, as much as it's a classic. In terms of getting a new massive coaster at the park, if they did need to replace it, then I'd be all for it. I'd much rather than put a new coaster in somewhere else and we keep Vampire, but Chessington have a lot of trouble when it comes to planning permission, more so than Alton Towers, believe it or not. And so it'd be interesting to see what happens in the next sort of 5 or so years for Vampire. Hopefully it'll stay, but if not, I wouldn't be too sad if it did get replaced by something else. Don't get me wrong, it's a great family coaster and it is a classic, but it's never been the same in my eyes since it had their new Vekoma trains. When you used to sit in the bat and swung with those, it was so much better, it really was. But thanks, Jake, for your question. Next up from Chris, what is the most intense ride out of the two? Blue Fire at Europa Park or Hair Raiser at Ocean Park? So really good question that. However, they are two very, very different rides. One being a Mack Mega Coaster and one being a B&M Flawless Coaster. Both very different rides, both very enjoyable. Definitely Hair Raiser is the most intense. However, Mack Mega Coasters, that leads me on to say that Mack Mega Coasters really aren't that intense. They are very enjoyable, but they're not that intense at all in terms of the launch. Yes, you get some intense elements like the inversions and that's like the airtime hills on Helix, for example. But yeah, in terms of the launch, they're not that intense at all with them being LSM launches. Helix, Blue Fire, they are quite gradual. When you've got a hydraulic cable launch, what you get on the Intamin ride, it's more of a more acceleration, whereas on these it builds up the speed as it goes along. Yeah, and I just hope people will realise that with Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the launch will not feel anywhere near as fast as the likes of Rita and Stealth. It will be that gradual acceleration with Icon, and I don't want people to go on it and be disappointed. That is how it's going to be. It'll be a brilliant ride. Icon will be one of the best coasters in the UK. I've got no doubts about that, and the fact the location will play a big part of it, interacting with the big one, Steeplechase, Big Dipper, all around that area. It'll be brilliant. But yeah, don't go on expecting a ridiculously intense launch, because that isn't what Mack Mega Coasters are all about. It's more about the enjoyable experience, the airtime, and the feel of hang time when you go through some of them inversions. So thanks there, Chris, for your question. Finally, we got one from Greg Meller. This is quite interesting. This is a question from Fantasy Island. So what makes the magical seaquarium so enjoyable, so magical? Really interesting question there from someone called Greg Meller. Bear in mind it's owned by Mellers. I'm not too sure if this is genuine or not, but I'm going to go with it. So yes, I find it so magical because of the experience of going on it as a kid. The soundtrack, the theming. I know there's a lot of UV style lighting and that in there. I do think some of the set pieces could be lit up even better and just cleaned a little bit. But in terms of a ride, I think it's beautiful inside the pyramid. It works so well along with everything else that you've done. at the park. I mean, they've done some great things over the past year for the pyramid, all the indoor section, blackening out all the roof. It looks stunning in there, so please don't remove the Seaquarium if that really is someone from Mellors. I don't know, but I thought I'm going to read that question out because it's quite an interesting one. But yeah, it's just a great ride, really enjoyable, and yeah, the soundtrack really makes it for me in there as well. If you've got any questions, make sure you keep sending them in for next week's episode. And if we've got 4 questions, I'll be sure to read them out next week. So for this week's Merch Paradise, I've got a couple of mugs to share with you. I do love a good mug. Now these are quite special because they're actually given to me by a fan of Theme Park Worldwide who visited a park over in the Philippines called Enchanted Kingdom. Don't really know a lot about that park, but here you go. It's got a nice little caption there. The magic lives forever on the mug. I like that. And then moving on from that one, you got this one as well. This is quite nice. It's got like a Mickey style sorcerer's hat on. It's just got the branding on the front round there. 2D mugs, but they're really quite nice. I like how they've got a green and orange one on the inside as well. Not like I drink out of any of these mugs anyway. They all stay on display. But thank you for sending in those. They're really, really nice. And yeah, it's good to think that you thought of me when you went on your trip to the Philippines. Next week I'll have even more merchandise to share with you guys. Some more from our Asia mega trip. Now, of course, we're going to wrap up this week's episode of the show with TPW Showcase, and this week I've got more photos than I've ever put in a video before. We've even topped last week, so much to get through, so thank you for all of your support. It's great to see you getting out there this summer, having photos on the rides, selfies out the front of those coasters, all that kind of stuff, so keep it coming in for next week's episode of the show. But this week, let's see what we've got. So firstly, we've got Pepin outside Symbolica, so thanks for sending in that one. We've then got Zoe with an Octonauts on-ride keyring. Thanks for that, Zoe. Samuel's got a Red Force on-ride photo. Loving the pose that you're doing there. Next up then we've got Amajit, who had a photo with Lee, so thanks for sending in that one. Daniel had a photo with me just there. It was great to meet you. We've then got Annie with an on-ride photo collection, so thanks for sharing that one. Moving on then, we've got Helen and with a roller coaster restaurant photo. Good to see you all in there. I like the fact you've got your Millennial Pass lanyard on there as well, so thanks for sending in that one. We then got Adam, who had a photo with me there as well. It was great to meet you. Jensen has got an Epcot cake. That is really quite cool. I want some of that. Make sure you send some in for me. Thanks for sending your photo. Daniel's next with the Nemesis on-ride photo. Following on from that, we've got Damien with a Crake on-ride photo. Do you enjoy Crake? It's a good ride. Charlotte next has got photos with Theme Park Worldwide crew, so thank you very much for sending in that one. It was great to meet you. We then got Nathaniel with a Smiler on-ride photo. Good to see that you went on the Smiler and had a good time. We then got Campbell with a big one on-ride photo there from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Thanks for sending in that. We then got Rowett with a Chapass on-ride photo. I do love Fantasyland, and yet again we'll be back there in September. I can't wait. Moving on, we've got Amy at Toverland. Sorry if I'm pronouncing some of your names wrong. I am absolutely awful at pronunciation, I really am. But I do try my best, but thanks for sending in your photo there from Toverland. Moving on, we've got Greer, who had a photo with Harry, so thanks for that one. Paul has got an Oblivion on-ride photo. Great to see you there. We've then got James outside Topville Dragster. Loving that. I can't wait to go to Cedar Point at some point in the not-so-distant future. Lee's got a photo here with Lee, Mr. Lee Wood, everybody. We love that. Lee and Lee together. Thanks for sending in your photo. Next up then we've got Katie, who's had a photo here with me. It was great to meet you, and thanks for sending that one in. We then got Max with a 13 and Smiler cake. That is awesome. I'm loving those. Charlotte up next with a Chapass on-ride photo. Plenty of Chapass this week. Loving that. Then got Lee with some Pleasure Island merchandise. Thanks for sending that one for us here at the show. We then got Aaron with the Twin Lakes map. Loving that. I need to go to Twin Lakes and do a vlog at some point actually. Moving on from that, we've got Chris with the Pleasure Beach mug. And then finally, last but not least, we've got Ollie with a Universal mug set. Loving those there, they look really, really nice. I want some, I'm jealous. But there we go, that is all your photos. What a bumper episode of TPW Showcase. So thank you very much for sending in those. All you need to do if you want it in next week is send them in on Instagram message and also on our Facebook page as well. Just search Theme Park Worldwide. That's all for this week's episode of the show. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll be back next Wednesday with another episode here on Theme Park Worldwide. Thank you for all of your support. It's great to see that you're all enjoying our vlogs at the moment, and like I say, this week, plenty to come. Q&A, Planet Coaster, and Japan. That means it's time to cue those credits. Bye, guys.